rare sight for us. Sandia is covered in clouds. That's where we're heading. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us on another Sandia Mountain Natural History Center quick trip. Today, we are not in the most ultra special place, but it's a special place to me, the Sandia Mountains. And we're out hiking on 10K. That's one of the trails here in the Sandias, and it's been recently rerouted. So I got longtime volunteer Daniel with me, and we're just gonna go check out this new trail.
South 10K, well, 10K trail basically goes from Tree Springs all the way across the Sandias, cleared over to Penasco Blanco. It got its name from being at, guess what, 10,000 feet. It was named after a man, my first volunteer coordinator, John Southwick.
Cool. So one of the main reasons for today's adventure is we are hiking a new trail. And that is relatively rare for both Daniel and I here in the Sandias. So the trail has been rerouted from here back over to this trail. So the reason that trails get rerouted is for a lot of reasons. Mostly resource management reasons, like the old trail was eroding too bad. Maybe it went past something sensitive. Maybe it was a user-created trail. A lot of different reasons for rerouting trails, but it's mainly to make the trails more sustainable.
All right, so we're seeing in these trees these blue diamonds, and what do they indicate? This indicates in the winter, this can be used as a cross-country ski trail. If we look at the grades, it's not really that bad. It's not like a 7% grade. It's fairly flat. And so what we see here is we have these nails, and the nails are not driven all the way into the tree, and that's for a reason, because this tree is going to continue to grow. Okay, we also see that these nails are special nails that don't have lead in them, hence protecting the tree. We also see, and I'm 6'3" and I'm standing this high, so I'm about almost 8 feet. Why did they put these blue diamonds at 8 feet opposed to eye level down here about 5 or 6 feet? Well, they did that because if you think about it, in the winter, you're going to have about 3 feet of snow. Hence, now it's at eye level.
So this rock is limestone. That's very, very common in the Sandias. If you're down in Albuquerque and you look at the top of the mountain, you're going to see that gray band of rock on the top. That's limestone. But these fossils in it are crinoids, and they were living in the ocean that formed that limestone band about 300 million years ago. Crinoids were an actual living organism that attached itself to the bottom of the ocean, kind of floated with the current, but then caught things in its tentacles as they went by. So we've come across several of these wide open meadows. Daniel, do you have an explanation for what these meadows are?
Yeah, these are actually been cut down. And the original name of the Sandia Peak ski area was La Madera. La Madera is Spanish for wood. And they think that, a lot of this timber and then timber down in the valley were cut. And what I read, they think it was a sawmill, which makes a lot of sense because up this canyon, what we call the Turquoise Trail, is the mines, and they would come up and harvest this lumber and use that lumber for the Santa Fe Railroad. So how did this all come about? The name I remember as a child was a guy named Bob Nordhaus. And Bob Nordhaus around 1936 was doing crazy things. He was going to a place called Hyde Park in Santa Fe, and the road here, what we know as North 14, was actually Route 10, and he could come up as far as Tree Springs Trailhead. And if you look there today, there's a big open area, and they were doing on cross-country skis. He was a skier at the time, and it wasn't big like we think about it today, because they were having to use what's called skins. And skins they would take and help you get up the mountain, and then they would ski down. Now, what they called a long day, because we got to think, Paul and I drove here in my four-wheel drive Betty, and there's an asphalt road. Then it wasn't, it was muddy. And so it was an adventure just getting to the place where you wanted to go skiing. So with Bob, he enlisted him and another gentleman named Ed Foley. Well, Bob was in the National Guard, got commissioned, went to the 10th Mountain Division, and at a place called Camp Hell, they trained and later went off to war in Europe. Came home, and because of that, all these guys from the 10th Mountain Division, because of their experiences, now they wanted to go out and they want to go skiing. They actually started building places like Aspen, Vail, Steamboat, Breckenridge, and Sandia Peak.
So we're just cutting across another one of the ski slopes and came across all these parts of grass here pushed down, and these are not alien crop circles. What we're looking at is actually a place where deer bed down for the night or a rest or whatever. It's a perfect spot. This grass, look at this grass is that high, so they're pretty well hidden here.